There are two famous Banholzer houses near the location of the former Banholzer Brewery in St. Paul, Minnesota. The better known of the two is William Banholzer's red brick mansion on Stewart Avenue, now belonging to the Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation. The other is Frederick Banholzer's white wooden house on Butternut Street. Today, we will be exploring the tunnels underneath both of them. To debunk one long-standing rumor, the tunnels do not humanly connect directly to either house. Located about 40 feet below street level, they are private sewer tunnels carved in sand rock during the 1880s, draining to the cliffs of the Mississippi River. These tunnels end directly under each house, where a drill hole through the overlying Platteville limestone bedrock connects to the house utilities. Cast iron pipes descending from each house through the drill holes discharge raw sewage to the tunnels. These interconnecting tunnels are now considered part of the Sumac Street sewer. As such, the tunnels under the mansions can only be accessed via the nearby Banholzer Brewery Cave. And so that is where we will begin our adventure. The editorial staff of the Ramsey County Historical Society chose to suppress this story, so it is brought to you by means of this video. For those curious about the story of the cave itself, see our separate video on that topic, linked in the description.
Here we are in the Banholzer Cave, and today our exercise in forbidden knowledge is going to be, we're going to try to get to the Banholzer house and mansion. Actually, there's two of them, as we'll see. There is a white wooden house. That was the house of Frederick Banholzer. And then on the top of the hill, the one more people are familiar with, the red brick mansion, that was the William Banholzer house, both constructed in the 1880s. And there's a tunnel from the 1880s that runs to them. And so we're just going to see if we can just go up to the mansion today, starting at Banholzer Cave. Back in the day, before this was sealed in before Banholzer Cave was sealed for the first time in 1990, one of the major ways that people got into the cave was through the Sumac Street sewer. And if you look over here, there's a graffitied wall over here. There was no wall here back in the day. This was wide open, and you could see right into a storm drain. And it was the perfect conduit for people who were lugging kegs, and they wanted to bring kegs into the cave. They could just walk up and into here. And there were just countless smashed beer bottles in here. It was like a huge beer bottle dump. So that's all sealed nowadays. But as we'll see, over time, industrious people have dug around this obstruction, and so you can once again access the Sumac Street sewer, which we will be doing, and that ultimately leads into these old Banholzer Mansion tunnels, or we'll find out if they do. So let's get going on that then. Okay, so We followed the Sumac Street sewer up through several bulkheads, and we've left the Sumac Street sewer technically, and now we are in the old private Banholzer sand rock tunnel that was, dug by them in the 1880s to service their houses. And you can see on the floor here, there's no longer used. This is what's called a bell and spigot construction, these clay pipes that used to carry the sanitary sewage out to the Mississippi River, but of course that's not allowed nowadays. So any sewage from these properties has to go through, like other means. So as we're walking up this tunnel here, we've come to the first side passage. Okay, and this is the side passage leading towards the Frederick Banholzer house. Now, when you're on the surface and you look at this, it's that huge white wooden house there along, right on Butternut. And that is on Sumac, I believe. And so I'm gonna go up here and just have a look and see what the terminus is. There's all sorts of debris on the floor here, including, strangely enough, rubber vehicle tires. I don't know how that kind of thing got down here, but and again, there's no sign of flowage or anything down here. We're getting pretty good air current in some places. So we're just going to continue then. Okay, yeah, so we followed the Frederick Banholzer side passage as far as it goes, and as expected, this white pipe, which is sanitary sewage from the White House above us, it goes to a place where there is a vertical drill hole through the Platteville limestone and goes up to the, so we're at the end of walkable passage here.
So no busting into a
yeah. So if you expect to enter a banquet room or
get some wine, and
hobnob with a rich and famous brewers, and now forget it.
All right.
I kind of labored breathing here. The air is warm and fetid. This is a stagnant dead end, of course. You can see here the wall is covered with what are called vermiculation. See these little spots on the wall. And this is from moisture. These are from like little drops of moisture forming and over the ages. And they just tend to form this vermiculated pattern as it's known. But it's pretty dry in here right now. But this passage is cluttered with various kinds of debris. I said we found a vehicle tire. Another thing we found was looks like
for a dollhouse.
A little plate,
yeah.
a porcelain plate for a dollhouse, or maybe it would hold one coffee mug or something. I'm not sure, but
it's pretty small for a teacup.
That somehow made its way down here into this passage down here. Well, okay, so we're done with this, and now we're going to go on to the other Banholzer relative. Follow the tunnel up to his place on the top of the hill and see how that goes. So, without further ado. Okay, so this is really remarkable. As we were walking through the Frederick Banholzer passage, the Sandrock Passage that leads to his house, it was dug out in the 1880s. But to our wonder, we came across this graffiti from him, what we believe is from him. It says F.B. Frederick Banholzer. And then, there's a heart on either side of it. And that's really interesting. That is really one of the most remarkable things that we've come across. So just wanted to point that out for our viewers. Okay, so we're at the end of the line now, and this is where we followed the William Banholzer passage. Now it's come to a dead end where the pipe, as expected, goes up through a drill hole through the Platteville limestone up to that red brick mansion at the top of the hill on Stewart Avenue. So we know precisely where we are, and that is, of course, the Hazelden facility nowadays. So it also, just by looking around it here at the debris, it appears that this is probably one of the more remoter party rooms under the city of St. Paul. Man, you have to go through multiple bulkheads and tight spots and low spots to get here. So it is very far in. But we found some vaping equipment and that sort of thing here. Okay, so the upshot of this is that neither passage, the one to Frederick Banholzer house or the one to William Banholzer house, they didn't actually connect to the banquet hall. Didn't connect to the house itself. But we did see something interesting along the way, which we're going to check out. And that is that there is a connection to the main sanitary labyrinth under the West 7th Street neighborhood. And if that is true, then basically Banholzer Cave has been connected up, so to speak, with the Stallman cellars under the Schmidt Brewery under West 7th Street. Now, it'll take a while to get there, but that would in effect be the case. So we're going to go check out this portage out of the Banholzer system and into the sanitary labyrinth.
Hey, I'm thirsty. Can you give me a drink?
Yeah, it's gonna. It's kind of. I give you a blast of water here. It's like it's quite rusted.
All right.
Okay, so we've already investigated the Banholzer Mansion passages. Okay, and they just dead end at drill holes. But now we're on to something very different thing. And this is the connection between this tunnel system and the main West 7th sanitary labyrinth, which runs for 30 miles. Okay, so if you look on the wall, this is Public Works writing. I can tell because it's green spray paint. That's what they use. It says to the Sumac Sanitary, and then they have an arrow pointing up here. So this is the portage out of the Banholzer Cave area and into the West 7th Street area. This is the connecting portage that takes you away from Banholzer and will get you over to the Stallman cellars under the Schmidt Brewery under West 7th ultimately. Like I said, that's a long hike, and you'd have to be prepared for it properly. But so we're going to be going up here and checking out that connection there. Okay, so we've portaged out of the Banholzer cave area. And we're following the sand rock sanitary system. You can see we have active flow down here. And up ahead of me here, we've just arrived at the Stewart Avenue part where in the West 7th Street interceptor, and that's heading off towards the downtown area, and ultimately, of course, the treatment plant, the Pig's Eye treatment plant. But what this provides is proof of concept that you can go to Stallman's Cave from Banholzer Cave, but I'm not going to be doing that today because I just got my little tinnies on here, and I would want to have, I would want to have waiters and the full thing. And the other thing is that we're getting into rat country here. This is prime area for rats. What rats like to do is when you see them, they'll be running along the tops of these shelves here, either running towards you or usually away from you if they can, unless you run up into a dead end. Then they turn around and run towards you. It's very disconcerting. But haven't seen any, but there definitely will be encountering them if we continue past this point, which we're not going to do today. So just gonna head on back.